whatsoever. Their ideas are so cliched and shallow that only, arrested development infantilized man babies could ever adopt them. And that's why they were there at the protest yesterday, refusing to debate, refusing to talk, because they can't defend their own opinions.
Well, they're all mad at their middle class or rich parents, and they're rebelling to freak them out. And they're all freaking out hearing this right now, not knowing how we know this. I mean, come on, you guys are a joke. You're the same everywhere. A lot of them are little trust fund kids, and they're there on their, parents paying for their education, bitching about the country. I mean, they're just... I don't normally use words like rat and scum. I'll just say what people said and say they're tyrants and the enemy. But these people are a spiritual type, and they love death, and I think God will probably give them what they want sooner rather than later. Paul, stay there. Leanne, stay there. We've got Dew coming in as well to add to the discussion. I'm Alex Jones. This is the InfoWar.
We're on the...
Here's the deal. I love God. I'm not perfect. I know rock and roll's got its rebellious tinges, but the point is, all these fake Christians sit around and go, he has rock and roll music, but I don't see them out trying to save babies' lives at an abortion clinic, or trying to get fluoride out of the water, or trying to actually expose the devil worshippers. Humans are wild, we're aggressive. Look at King David, look at Solomon. They weren't perfect, but they loved God. Their heart was right. Yes, they were worldly. And I'll say it all day. I'm not up on some high horse. I'm not attacking people that have had abortions. If they're not saying, I'm glad I killed my baby, I love death. That's the big difference here. And I want to get back into that with Paul Watson. Rob Dew's here to get into the overall tyranny of the so-called left on universities.
The training ground.
For the end of free speech. That's what political correctness is. It's where they can be racist, they can be hateful, they can do whatever, but you don't have any speech, period. All speech is labeled bad, and they're the authority. They're the arrogant little authorities because they've been knighted by the professors that live in their own bubble, spewing all this garbage. You pay $100 grand for your kids to get a UT education or whatever school it is, and if it's not in engineering or whatever, it's basically like toilet paper. All you learn how to do, is how to hate men. And then the average man's just dumbed down, stumbling around, not having any idea what's going on because the leadership's been taken out. How can little InfoWars be in international news every day, be changing debates, have major governments admitting they listen to it, have ISIS recruiting plunging, doing what the U.S. military isn't allowed to do because we know the truth. The truth will set you free. The truth has power. Everybody should be looking at what we do and going, why is it so effective? Because it's true. It's true. I mean, I'm watching the feed live yesterday when David Knight's on the night, and the instant I saw him, I went, oh my gosh, they're going to say they're anarchists, they're really communists, but they'll be Satanists. In fact, I said it on air. I said, in my opinion. We go down there, it's them. I see that look. I see those. I mean, I saw them from like 50 yards away on the camera. The camera's like 50 yards away, and I instantly, the bearing, the spirit, the nastiness, the evil. Rob Dew, I want to get your take on all of this. Watching it, seeing it, what was it like here as the InfoWars Nightly News director watching it?
Well, I was out there shooting from across the road, and immediately
that's right, you were there.
Popped up, and I'm like, I'm zeroing in on these guys. They're going to cause trouble because I've seen this type of behavior before with these types of people.
How could you tell, though?
One, it was the clothes and the way they were dressed, but then, they weren't really organized. They were kind of bumbling around, and then, it was so pathetic watching them try to block the signs, and they were just trying to throw them up in the air and block them, and people had bigger signs that were holding them up. And I just thought it was amazing.
It was the weakness.
Right. And all
you could feel the weakness.
All of our protesters, the people that came in for the Black Lives Matter protest, didn't say anything to them. They were being respectful. They're like, I'm just going to put my sign in front of yours. And they would get in front of them and like, well, I'll just move my sign in front of yours. And then they start bumping them. Then they started like throwing the tar paper on them as they were trying to like walk away. Like, I'm going to go walk in front of you. And it was just going. And then Jakari goes and asks the guy a question. He goes, don't be aggressive. I mean, that is baby. Like, I can't think of anything more baby to say. Somebody asks you a question, you go, don't be aggressive.
I should have let that guy hit me again and then just said, don't be aggressive when I broke his jaw.
Yeah, don't be aggressive.
Well, as soon as he walked away, he was like attacking the guy with the sign.
Well, and I got the shot from behind. When I saw them all linking arms, I knew they were going to do something. I didn't think they were going to try to run over a crowd of people, which I think was the dumbest move.
Including like 8-year-old kids.
Well, and the first guy that hits this old guy, and he's just standing there, and they just run over him. And then they go after you guys, and they ran into Weldon Henson, who's just, he's a good old boy. And he's like, I'm not moving. I have to go around. And, I mean, that was just great to see that.
And I liked how they started hitting him, so he just started choking two of them. He just grabbed two of them by the throat, started choking them to the
And he
ground.
was like, you better calm down.
Exactly. And that's how you have to be. And you're right. Those people are bullies. And they want to walk around and get in your face and say stuff. And then if you say one thing, don't be aggressive. It's just so
Help me, I'm
ninny.
weak.
They're like hitting,
Exactly.
and then they're like, oh, don't
I
hit.
told you the Jedi.
But the breeding ground is the universities, because they teach you about free speech zones, and they teach you how to not say the wrong thing because it may offend somebody.
Because they're the boss. It's all about
Right.
they control. Oh, I'm liberal. Say what I say or I'll denounce you. Denounce me all day as a heretic. I'm sick of you.
And having to get your signs approved and what you're doing. And I just went back and just did a few searches. One which really stood out was the Young Americans for Freedom. They were passing out constitutions back in 2014, and they were stopped. They were told, you can't pass
It was
these out here."
banned.
Yeah. And then there's other students that were just trying to pass out. It was pro-gun signs, the anti-Obama sign. Then you had another
That
group.
was just this week.
That was this week. And then also in George Washington University, they told the students there, actually at Dixie State, that they couldn't have signs lampooning Bush and Obama. It's like you can't do anything.
And of course, the university used to be about the place where anybody could do anything anytime if you were a student.
Exactly.
And
Now
then
all you can learn about is white privilege and white guilt.
Well, and do you remember back in 2011, you had my brother here, he was doing the paper on Ron Paul and how the media was ignoring him.
and he already had his degree in statistics. He was going to do another one.
He's getting
Are we
his
allowed to talk
master's
about
in
it? They
Oh, yeah.
threatened his master's
Right.
when he did work for us.
Right, exactly. And they didn't like the fact that he was talking about Ron Paul, the professor.
They told him, they said,
this is
yeah.
something you shouldn't be covering. You shouldn't be doing this. This is a non-issue. This is a non-issue. They just couldn't stand
They're
that somebody
all
was
about
talking
stifling.
libertarianism.
It's the opposite of what a university would be in the Renaissance.
Right, exactly. It's like, hey, let's ask more questions. Why can't we just ask more questions? That's what it's supposed to be about. When you take your philosophy, your
And in
first
fairness,
philosophy
there are
class, it's
good
all about
professors at every university, but they're henpecked, pushed around, demoted, kicked
questions.
out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only thing is the party line, and the university.
We ought to
has
have your
become a
brother in and
breeding
tell
ground.
that story now that he's out.
Oh yeah, he's out and he's doing statistics for a pretty big company now, a company I used to work for. So he's doing great. But he didn't let that stop him. He still said, nope, I'm going to publish my paper. I'm going to do it. And then he put it out on Infowars. They got so mad when he came on Infowars. They were so mad.
Because that'd be a victory for them to shut him up.
Oh yeah, totally.
I know
They would
so
love
many
it.
executive scientists, you name it, that go, we'll be attacked if I speak out. I'm going to shut up. You're going to lose everything if you don't speak up. So what if you lose your job? If we don't beat these people, we're going to lose everything. Don't you get it?
There'll be
Sorry.
other people who will offer you a job. By speaking out, you'll get other people just to go, wow, that guy's got balls. He's got
He's who we need as a major person in this company.
Exactly. Let's bring this guy in. He's not afraid to speak his mind. So, and that's what we need more of. And that's what we don't have enough of in this country. Everybody's like worried about offending somebody, and everybody walks around like this.
Well, that's why the cops, I later learned today, knew those were the kill the cop, kill the pig people, and they just kissed their butt, intimidated by them.
I don't see why.
I mean, why is it, if they're totally pathetic, scum, breaking the law, violating the First Amendment, villains, why does everyone have to bow to the weakest pile of horse crap?
That's a good point.
I mean, I want to understand why, as a country, we bow to whatever's pathetic.
I think that's been a long-standing tradition in our company, or our country, for the last 30 years.
That's what
they've been
they do.
training people not to speak out, to go with the herd. And that's what we don't do here. We don't go with the herd.
That's it. Infowars.com, not with the herd.
There you go.
That's the slogan.
I mean, that's basically what we have.
Infowars.com. Chuck Norris loves it.
There is one good news. There's actually a college in it's the University of Georgia. They actually stopped their free speech zone. There was enough outcry from it in this year.
Hey, I was arrested in New York for not being in a free speech zone. There were thousands of lawsuits. They don't do that anymore.
No.
Austin used to say free speech zone. I would say no, arrest me.
Well, and that's what it is. The story we just reported on. That's in a Blinn College in.
So that's the good news. We're saying no, they're failing.
Exactly. You say no, and then you file a lawsuit. That's what you have to do, because otherwise they.
You want a lawsuit against the police when they arrested you?
Exactly. That was a free speech. That was a big free speech moment. And we weren't doing anything but standing on a hill covering an anti-police brutality.
And the cops are being given illegal orders. They should have said no, but we don't hate them. We're not their enemy. We want to reform them. We sued them and won to teach them that you will not violate the First Amendment.
Right, and
And
then
I
it
don't know
becomes
if
a
it did any
policy in their department.
Yeah.
They don't know. They're just following orders.
Well, and that goes only so far at some points. You got to.
Well, at the same time, there's a difference between not liking MRAPs and checkpoints and the police state run by the globalist when the very same globalists now want to scapegoat the cops for everything. And then you go look from Ferguson to Maryland to everywhere. It's this exact scum, Soros-funded, that is agitating it all. So I will never join with those people.
No, they don't have anybody's best interest in mind, but creating this revolution where they think they're going to have anything. Those people are pathetic. They couldn't build a school. They couldn't build a road. They couldn't do it. They would have no planning.
Yeah, here's the deal. Arde Saveda has been in this office many times. I want to get him back on. I think he's a good guy overall. Means well. He's done some good reforms to the police department. The department still has a lot of problems. Any big city would. But overall, I think we have a model police department compared to the wreck that, say, Albuquerque is, where we're on the radio. Major problems there. He will fire bad cops and does routinely. But I've seen changes. And it wasn't that bad before compared to other cities. It was a pretty good department. But I think it's gotten better. But he said in the hallway here one day, he goes, hey, don't you say I'm a... I mean to poke you that hard, sorry. He goes, hey, we had to flee Cuba. My dad fought against, Fidel Castro. I went and looked it up. It was actually true, involved with the CIA, you name it. He goes, you don't sit there and call me a communist. I go, wait, you're setting up warrantless checkpoints. You're taking blood, which got overturned in the Supreme Court. You're doing stuff. So all I'm saying is being anti-gun, going along with your orders from the Democratic City Council is violating my rights. And it is Mao Zedong type garbage, Fidel Castro garbage. And he goes, well, listen, just don't say I'm a communist because I'm not. Well, that's fine. But here's the deal, Arde Saveda. Those punk kids are going to get in a lot of trouble or end up getting hurt next time they punch somebody or attack somebody. And this needs to be investigated, them attacking a free speech rally and doing the things they did, and on their Facebook talking about attacking police, which goes over the line of free speech, okay? So if I did that, the police would be here, and they should be. I want something done about them. I'm sick of this crap. I'm sick of it. I want the APD to do their job right now.
We had people come here saying you were threatening people just because people were posting comments on your website about with cops.
They're on their website saying, I'll go back to Paul Watson, saying that I'm threatening them to come to their hovels. And then they're posting other people's houses that I don't live there. And fine, go to those houses. Go harass these poor guys named Alex Jones. There's 10 of them. 3 of them have gotten visits. Not since this, but other people. A lot of visits, crazy fans, you name it. The truth is that I don't even live in a house under my name. So you morons going to Alex Jones's houses, you're not getting there. Plus, if you get there, it's a gate, dogs, and a gun. Ain't nothing going to happen except you might, if you threaten my family, you're going to be pushing up daisies. And that's not a threat. It's a fact. I've got my rights. So, again, that's the bottom line here, is that no, we're not threatening you. No, we're not coming to your house. Everything they say is a lie. We're not communists. They're communists. I'm threatening to come to their house and hurt them. No, I haven't. And then they do it to us. It's just sick. I mean, and do these morons really... This shows why they're so dumb. You think I'm scared of you when I take on the entire New World Order? I mean, do you have any idea the people that listen to this show and support it inside the system? If you did, you'd be scared right now, okay? Not of me. I don't have to do anything or say anything, okay? You have no idea who you're jacking with, punks. Excuse me, I want to bring Paul Watson on. Paul Watson shifting back into just the war on free speech by the so-called left. How do we stop calling them the left? How do we, because they're not liberals like Thomas Jefferson, they are snake cult, wing of doom, wing of death. I mean, what do you call people that say, I want to kill my baby, I love Satan?
Well, they're vicious authoritarians, and they don't believe in equality. This is the core of it. Leftists don't believe in equality. It's this oppression Olympics. They believe in this hierarchy of victimhood where truth is ascertained by degrees of gender and skin color. And as you said earlier, it's all coming out of the universities. What you saw yesterday during that protest isn't happening in a vacuum. You know, every single week on Twitter, these social justice warriors attack me. In fact, I was in Cosmopolitan, Time Magazine, and Marie Claire for simply making a tweet about how to spot a feminist. And then I was bombarded by all these death threats. They threatened to put me in a gulag in front of a firing squad and execute me with a guillotine, behead me, simply for making these tweets about radical feminism. So it's
do a story on that, because I saw those. Some of these are prominent feminists calling for your murder. Again, why is the left allowed to call for killing people?
over and over again.
They're crazed and aggressive and violent. But we're
But-
the extremists.
These are actually...
Stop being
We've
aggressive.
got a story in the UK at the moment, for example. A diversity officer at a major university, she banned white men from attending a diversity event.